Ontario, Canada, and this is an HR Rockstars live discussion with my friend Kevin O'Brien. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
So, Kevin and I have been discussing for just about 20 minutes, I would say 30, and our dinner plans here are getting late because we're so enjoying this, but we're going to get to dinner pretty soon. But no, this is really, first of all, I want to thank you, Kevin, for this opportunity to have a, just connect on a more personal level for people in the tribe, HR Rockstars Tribe, to get to know you. You and I met in New York just over 2 weeks ago, a few days, and how is that we didn't know each other 2 weeks ago, and there we are talking to each other. Last week we did, as a follow-up to New York, I reached out to you, you and I discussed, and now you've part of the tribe, and I think you're enjoying this ride, and you're part of other communities. And how does it feel to be propelled like that in the universe?
It feels like a snowball that just started rolling downhill that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But it's good. It's kind of a fun ride. I've really enjoyed the activity that I'm seeing on the HR Rockstars community, and it's been just awesome for me to be able to engage with others who are really excited about unleashing personal energy and unleashing potential within human beings.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I think and that's pretty powerful because that's something that's a free resource. People helping each other on a day-to-day basis. I mean, there are many communities and tribes out there, but I think whenever you feel like being in a conversation, you can jump and engage on that. But I want to really hear you and allow people to just hear your story, because you're a pretty inspiring guy. Last week I had a discussion with Copeland, and at some point I was just like sitting back and listening, and a pure amazement. And I feel like you're not only an active learner, but you're a lifelong learner. You're always what I like about you is you're quite strategic, and you don't stay superficial. You go within yourself to find meaning. And so let's get to know you, your journey, and then we can start jumping on each other's end and bring this to whatever level we want. Do some wave riding like Harrison Owen has said to us in New York 2 weeks ago.
Well, thanks, John. Thanks for the resounding description. So my journey has been quite unusual one, at least unusual in the sense that I didn't expect to be joining the HR Rockstars community 2 weeks ago. I worked, my background is chemical engineering, so my undergraduate degree is in chemical engineering, and I worked for about 8 years as an engineer, doing process engineering, product engineering, also engineering leadership, and I spent 6 of those years working for a company called W.L. Gore & Associates, which is pretty well known for its corporate culture and its innovative products, the maker of Gore-Tex. I also worked, my last year and a half with W.L. Gore, I worked in a product management role, which is on the business team in the aerospace and defense industry. And over the course of my time working at Gore, I found myself a lot more fascinated with the culture and how the company worked than I was with the products I was working with. So when I left Gore in January of last year, I intended to take some time off. It's turned out to be a year reflection period, which wasn't what I expected, but it's been very valuable. So I've had a year of reflection to try to figure out for myself where all of this experience working in a very unique corporate culture, how can this be valuable to the world, being that I don't have a degree in organization development or something that's more traditional in how companies are put together, but I just so happened to stumble into an open space meeting in New York 2 weeks ago and had the great pleasure of meeting you and many others. So I'm really happy to have to have had that kind of serendipitously happen to me, and now we're here, so I'm excited.
Exactly, Kevin. I mean, when I first heard that 2 days before, was it 2 days before the conference, you heard about the actual conference, it filled my heart with gratitude and warmth because, and when I met you and when I heard that story, I immediately saw, that's you being open to change, and I think that's a key leadership trait for any leaders that want to be successful is being open to. You're talking about serendipity, but really, it is that it's being open to the experiences. And Open Space was quite an event for us. We're going to have a live show on Wednesday this week, and you're going to be part of that. And to me, Open Space is nothing more than, it's quite simple, really. And I don't want to, I want to be appreciative of what Open Space is, but I think what at the core is what you and I and others, and we all have it. It's, the humanity that lies at the core of each human, each individual, and how many organizations out there stifles people's potential or do not unleash the humanity that resides in everybody. And, you talk about the fun ride that you've had, and your definition. I want to hear your definition of being successful or success, because, I've taken notes before we went on live on the Hangout, and it's kind of, taking. What if we were in a unique period in moment's history where the definition of success is changing right before our eyes? We're actors.
Oh yeah, I think it is. I think the definition of success that I grew up learning was to achieve a high level of education through the university system, which ultimately would lead you to a successful career that would allow you to earn a great income, and from that you could provide a wonderful life. And I think in many ways that's still what people are being taught, but I just so happened to work in a company that used a different definition of success that was more around helping people to find what they're really passionate about. And by being really passionate about what you're working on, through that passion, you unlock a higher level of energy that you can bring to your team, to your organization. And I think that's really true. And I feel like going forward, the definition of success is more going to be around how do you unlock your own passion, and how do you stay in that state of flow, as some people are calling it now. How do you stay in that state of flow more often, and what are the factors that contribute to that for you? So I'm trying to figure that out for myself, and it's been quite a journey, but I think I'm getting there, so that feels good.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. And so as you were talking, I came up with 3 letters, HHP, which is like H2P. Instead of being H2O, H2O is like air, right? But yes. What if the new you're a chemical engineer, so what if the new microcosm of life was H2P, which is happiness and high performance. Being happy in whatever form translates in the production of endorphins, the happiness hormones that keeps you in a peak performance zone all the time. So really, it's quite that it is really that simple. But we need to go back to the. It's like Leonardo da Vinci. When I was quoting Leonardo da Vinci, I'm reading this book right now, which I bought this weekend, Da Vinci's Ghost.
Oh, good.
And that's a really nice book. Well, I've just started it, but it's written in a way that it's a story of Leonardo da Vinci's life and quest to understand what's at the core of humanity. And so, yeah, H2P. Maybe that's whatever formula works for people, right? Another book I'm reading right now is Appreciative Leaders, which I got from Marge Schiller. Marge Schiller is at the Gestalt Institute, and Akim introduced me to her in Fort Lauderdale. She's just living outside. And since I'm going on other books, I'm also reading Outliers from. Well, I bought this weekend from Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell is I just am curious. Not just because I think he has a really nice hairdo, but
it's quite unique. I've seen him in New York City walking around. It is a nice hairdo.
Well, there you go. So another person we have to meet in New York. Your pal is
growing.
Higher.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to.
So that's our friend Seth. The Icarus Principle. So that's a book that's been on my shelf for a while. Which I'm reading, and then you probably know this one, Zen, The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which has been an American, landmark book.
That's a classic book. It's a classic book. I'm afraid to say I haven't read that one, but I have to. I'll have to pick up a copy.
Yeah, exactly. And when I read, so this is typical of me. Like I have 5 books here, and there's 3 or 4 more, and that's what I do. I'm like a butterfly, like in an open space technology. We're like butterflies. We jump from one book to the other. So, what are the books, or what are the things that you've read? I guess in the last year, I'm curious to ask you the question because you're in a really great, I call it stillness inside, where you're building your own energy, accessing your own. Other than being in open space, that conference, is there anything that inspires you as far as reading or things that you've seen that you want to share?
I'm trying to think. I just recently read "Leading from the Emerging Future" by Otto Schrammer, and I was very impressed with some of the content within the book. I thought it goes a little bit beyond just trying to access the energy within, but I thought it was a really good description of some of the challenges that we have as a larger civilization and some of the ways we might be able to transcend and reinvent our future together. But I'm blanking on some of the books I've read. I think I've read 3 books since the open space. Leading the Tribes Within, or Igniting the Invisible Tribes, Josh's book. I recently read the first one I read after the open space, and it was great. I'd like to go back to something that you had said before about happiness equaling high performance. For me, I think it would be amazing if people could wake up in the morning, instead of thinking in their head, the story they tell themselves is, I have to go earn a living, I have to go to work so I can earn a living. What if they woke up in the morning and the story they told themselves was, I want to go to work because I love working? Like, what would it look like if that was the story that people were telling themselves? I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm personally trying to do this for myself, but I think if others were doing the same thing, in my head, I'm like, wow, that could be really amazing.
Well, and what I like about this quote, I just feel like you're like Copeland. You guys are just like sitting, and then it's like one thing after the other. And like I was saying to him last week, and I'm saying now, I mean, you are just in one sentence capturing like the field of positive psychology. And there's a huge movement. Like, I'm a researcher at heart, so I've been reading a lot about positive psychology. And there's a few experts in the U.S. That are researching about appreciative leadership. And my point there is, God, like we heard those people like Wayne Dyer. I'm sure you've heard about change your thoughts, change your lives. But it is that simple. But why is it so complicated? Well, there's many factors that explain why we're getting out of our zone and not in the happy zone. That we can achieve success in our own way, but being able to live life on your own terms is, I think, part of that for me is, each individual is born to be free.
To me, we're each
born to be free.
To me, what you're saying, live life on your own terms, is actually maturation. I think that's real. Adult maturation is about being able to understand how to live life on your own terms. And I think that this is something, unfortunately, that's not it's not really cultivated in the education system in many ways, and not necessarily taught to people. And unfortunately, my own experience with my own family, I think my parents, some of them are finding their sweet spot in their 60s, and I think that it's wonderful that they're finding it, and hopefully they'll be able to extend this for a while. But I think it would be wonderful if we could teach that and help people find that spot much earlier on, so that most of their life was being spent in this state of happiness and flow, which I think does lead to high performance. So I think it would be really cool.
And I think, I mean, because my head is really like the color is ignited by your words. I just want to say thank you for your kindness, and Kevin, don't underestimate the power of your words, because you are clearly inspired. And to me, it's like generating ideas. You know, there's a period of incubation, and I think what we're seeing of you, from what I know of you, is clearly there's been an incubation period, and now you're ready to jump. And the HR Rockstars community is quite, I mean, I'm talking on behalf of the tribe here. We're really happy to have you, and we look forward to see you on Wednesdays as a regular. And I'm just, you know, thankful for our friendship and our connection, my friend. So last few words to you, and then off we go to dinner here in Ottawa before I'm not allowed to do these hangouts on Mondays anymore.
Oh, sure. No, I am starting to feel hungry myself. But I wanted to say thank you, Johan. I'm very appreciative for the invitation to join the community, and I'm just impressed with all of the activity that I'm seeing, and I'm looking forward to these regular Wednesday discussions, and hopefully just more infectious energy will be unleashed.
There we go. So on behalf of the HR Rockstars tribe, I want to thank you, Kevin, and until next time.
Cheers. Okay. Cheers.
Happy dinner.
You too.